Welcome, and get ready for a deep dive today. We're going to fundamentally challenge how most of us define wealth.
Yeah, usually when you hear investing, you immediately think about external things, don't you?
Absolutely. Stocks, maybe real estate, gold, those diversified funds everyone talks about.
Right. We're always looking outside ourselves, trying to find that, that perfect vehicle for growth somewhere else.
Today, however, we're drilling into a really powerful philosophy. It comes from source material provided by our listener, Sagar Mandwar.
And these sources, they propose something quite different, a profoundly different perspective, actually.
They argue that the single biggest investment, the most resilient one, the one with the highest yield you can possibly make, it isn't external at all. It's purely internal.
The investment is you.
Exactly, you. Success, according to this material, isn't luck or timing.
No, it's framed as simply the inevitable result, the outcome of self-trust, rigorous self-refinement, and just continuous personal betterment.
Okay, let's unpack this then. This whole approach treats your personal development not just as, a soft skill.
Right, not just a nice to have.
No, it treats it as a critical financial strategy. So, our mission in this deep dive is to systematically explore what the sources call the 4 foundational pillars of self-investment.
Which are mind, skill, health, and network.
We're going to dissect why this internal strength is arguably the only truly permanent asset you possess.
And how those small, daily commitments, the tiny things, can lead to life-altering, compounding success over time.
It's that compounding effect again.
And that's really the beauty of this material, I think. It moves beyond just abstract motivation, feel-good stuff.
It offers more of a structured blueprint.
Precisely. It lays out clear, actionable steps for systematically increasing your, quote, real value in the world.
Real value, not just perceived value.
Exactly. It's about building an internal foundation so strong, so robust,
that external volatility, things like market crashes, job losses, global uncertainty,
none of that can really shake your fundamental ability to thrive because the core asset remains intact.
Okay, so section 1, the philosophy of internal wealth.
Where do we start?
I think the most important place to kick things off is defining true wealth. Because, like you said, we often confuse it with these, what did the sources call them? Fleeting assets.
Fleeting assets, yeah. We absolutely need to clarify what we're actually trying to build here.
So what's the distinction?
Well, the sources draw a very sharp line between just accumulation, piling stuff up, and genuine value creation.
Okay.
Real value isn't the number on your bank statement today. That's just a snapshot, right?
Yeah.
It can change tomorrow.
Right.
Real value is what you accumulate inside your mind, your knowledge base, your unique experiences, and crucially, your practical skills.
That internal asset?
Yeah.
It's so central the material uses a specific term for it, doesn't it?
It does. Hunar.
Hunar. I mean, that's a fantastic concept if I'm getting it right. It's not just skill in the basic sense.
No, it's deeper than that.
It's more like an inherent talent, maybe, or a practical mastery that you've really honed diligently.
That's a great way to put it. It's the craft and the capability. It encompasses that blend of maybe raw talent, but also disciplined execution.
Okay. And when we contrast that hunar with these fleeting assets,
the difference becomes incredibly stark. Think about typical external wealth, the stuff you buy for show.
Like the luxury clothes, the newest car model.
Temporary high-end pleasures, big parties.
Yeah.
Those are essentially expenses. They depreciate almost immediately.
And they can be stripped away in an instant sometime.
Absolutely. We've seen this happen countless times, haven't we? A major market shift happens.
Or a sudden economic downturn, maybe even a personal legal issue.
And poof, those external possessions can just vanish overnight.
And if all your sense of self-worth is tangled up in those external things,
you're left with basically nothing. It's a very precarious position.
But that internal strength, your hunar, the knowledge you've truly mastered, the resilience you've built inside,
the systems you understand, the problems you can solve, that cannot be taken from you, ever.
That's the critical difference, isn't it?
That's the core asset.
Yeah.
It's what allows, say, an entrepreneur who loses everything financially
to start rebuilding almost immediately.
Right. And often they achieve even greater success the second time around. Why?
Because their developed self, their core competency, their hunar, it's still there, intact.
They are inherently valuable, regardless what their current bank statement says. Their net worth statement might be 0, but their actual worth is high.
This leads us perfectly into a really compelling analogy the sources use. It helps quantify the difference, doesn't it?
It does. It highlights the psychological and practical gap between spending on fleeting pleasure versus persistent value.
Let's take the $5,000 example they use.
Yeah, that's a brilliant comparison. Okay, so imagine you have $5,000 cash right now.
All right.
You could spend all of it on, say, a magnificent but temporary party, a really lavish event, mostly for show.
Okay, sounds fun for a night.
You feel good for that one night? Sure. You get some temporary social validation, maybe some nice pictures.
But the next morning.
The money is entirely gone, evaporated. It was a pure, non-recoverable expense. Zero return on investment, financially speaking.
Okay, option 1. Now option 2. You take that exact same $5,000 and you invest it instead. Maybe in a high-level course, a specialized certification, perhaps getting some mentorship.
Or even just building a really comprehensive, curated library of books directly related to your industry or craft.
What happens then?
Well, that investment becomes foundational. That knowledge, that skill upgrade, it increases your ability to earn.
Right. It increases your ability to innovate, maybe, or solve bigger problems for people.
Exactly. So let's say that course helps you negotiate just a slightly better salary next year. Or maybe it enables you to launch a small side business that brings in, say, $10,000 in its first year.
Sure.
That initial $5,000 investment hasn't just been recovered, has it?
No, it started producing returns.
Compounding returns on your entire career trajectory, potentially for years and years to come.
And that knowledge, it never depreciates like the car or the clothes.
It only expands the more you apply it. That's the power of investing in your hunar.
That sets up the next idea perfectly. The 2 paths of energy investment. The source material suggests we start taking one of these paths almost subconsciously early on.
Yeah, it's like a fork in the road right after we're born, metaphorically speaking. Path 1 is the path of, well, immediate gratification.
Putting your energy, your time, your money into temporary things.
Exactly. The show, constantly chasing the latest fashion trends, engaging in hobbies that are fleeting or low value.
Or just consuming endless hours of passive entertainment. Scrolling, binge watching.
Right. This path prioritizes looking successful over actually being successful or capable.
Okay, that's path 1. What's path 2?
Path 2 is the long game path.
Yeah.
This is where you choose to invest that same energy, that same time, that same money.
Into the fundamentals.
Into the fundamentals. Deep knowledge acquisition, practical skill development, and consistent health maintenance. Building the core.
And the result, this is crucial, isn't it? Because it's often missed in generic self-help stuff.
Very crucial. The sources really emphasize that this second path, the path of internal investment, it leads to both things.
Both things.
Yes, it leads to external wealth because your increased value, your hunar, eventually commands higher compensation in the marketplace.
Right. People will pay for real solutions.
Yeah, and it leads to profound internal satisfaction, a deep sense of fulfillment.
So you're satisfied not just with, say, your bank account, but with the high-quality person you are actively becoming through that effort.
Precisely. It's a richer kind of wealth.
And achieving that definitely requires patience. Which brings us nicely to the power of small daily investment.
Yes. We are so conditioned, aren't we, to look for the spectacular, the overnight success stories.
We love those. But this blueprint, it relies on micro actions, tiny steps.
Absolutely. The sources completely reject the idea of success as some kind of, flash of lightning out of nowhere.
So what is it then?
Success is presented as the aggregate result, the sum total of continuous small daily investments in yourself.
And the core mechanism behind why this works, it's almost described as gravitational.
That's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
Money, opportunities, influence. They tend to flow almost inexorably.
Towards the person who consistently focuses on bettering themselves.
Exactly. If you improve daily, even just by a tiny, tiny margin, that famous 1% idea.
Your value increases. Exponentially over time, actually.
In a way that the world, the society, simply cannot overlook indefinitely. The world faces real problems, right?
Always.
Eventually, it has to pay attention and usually pay quite well for the increased competency, the increased hunar that you bring to the table.
Let's put this into perspective for you, the listener.
Okay.
Think about the time you might spend, let's be honest, maybe an hour a day, maybe more just passively scrolling on your phone.
We all do it, waiting for that next little hit of dopamine, that notification.
Right. Now imagine redirecting that exact same 60 minutes every day.
Towards what?
Towards reading something substantial in your field, practicing a difficult skill you need to acquire, taking an online course, something active.
Okay, 1 hour a day redirected.
Over the course of just 1 year, that simple shift compounds into 365 dedicated hours of learning or practice.
Wow, 365 hours. That's significant.
You are now measurably, demonstrably more competent, more knowledgeable, and probably more ready for that promotion or opportunity.
Than the person who just, well, wasted those same 365 hours on passive consumption.
It's a simple, almost undeniable mathematical advantage, isn't it?
Built entirely on consistency, small daily choices.
And this realization that the compound interest of learning, of hunar, is potentially far greater than the compound interest of money alone.
That's really the heart of the philosophy we're digging into today.
Okay, Section 2, Pillar 1, Investing in Mindset, the mind.
With that philosophical foundation now set, we turn to the first pillar. And the sources are clear. This one is the most critical.
The pilot of the entire operation, they say.
It dictates absolutely everything that follows. The central argument here is that your mindset determines your boundaries. Meaning our thought process, more than any external factor, more than your background, your current job, anything sets the limits on what you believe is possible for you.
So if you have a small mindset, maybe dominated by self-doubt or constantly replaying past failures,
you will only entertain small dreams. Your potential gets automatically capped right from the start by you.
But conversely, if you cultivate a big, expansive mindset, one that's focused on learning, on growth, on overcoming challenges,
then the world itself, with all its complexities and problems, starts to feel smaller, more manageable.
You start to believe that those complex problems are actually solvable. Maybe not easily, but solvable.
Exactly. The sources explain this through the mechanics of thought and action. Fear in your thoughts acts like an anchor.
It stops action immediately.
Pretty much. You become paralyzed by the possibility of failure, often before you even try.
But courage and clarity in your thoughts,
They act as an accelerator. That mental courage, that conviction, is what helps you overcome the heavy resistance of inertia. It pushes you to take those necessary calculated risks.
So if the mind is like a garden, as the saying goes, what should we be planting it in daily? The sources emphasize daily input, right?
Very much so. Just as your body requires good, nutritious food every day for physical sustenance.
Your mind requires high-quality positive input daily for mental and emotional growth.
And this means taking active steps. It's not passive. It means consciously filling your mind with positive ideas.
Oh.
Committing to continuous reading of substantive material, not just junk. Actively connecting with positive, forward-thinking people.
It sounds like active input management. You are the gatekeeper of your own mental landscape.
You have to be. Otherwise, the weeds take over.
But this isn't just about, thinking happy thoughts in a superficial way, is it?
No, not at all. The sources give us very specific, practical, actionable mind training habits to enforce this mental discipline.
Okay, what are they?
2 are explicitly recommended. The first is meditation.
And the purpose here isn't mystical.
No, it's presented as highly pragmatic. Its primary function is to calm and focus the mind. Think about it. A mind plagued by internal static, by constant anxiety, by scattered thoughts jumping everywhere.
That kind of mind can't strategize effectively, can it? Or execute difficult long-term plans.
Impossible. Meditation is framed as the discipline that helps clear that internal fog. It makes focused mental planning and execution actually possible.
Okay, meditation for calm and focus. What's the second habit?
The second, which I personally think is incredibly powerful for gaining clarity, is journaling.
And again, this isn't just like writing a diary about your day.
No, it's more like cognitive auditing. Writing down your thoughts, your worries, your ideas daily. It helps you objectively map the direction of your own thinking.
You get to see it down on paper, outside your head.
Exactly. You can't fix a leak until you locate the source, right? Journaling forces you to see your recurring mental loops, your patterns.
Like, are you spending 3 hours mentally replaying a minor argument from last week?
Or are your thoughts genuinely focused on solving current problems versus maybe just dwelling on imaginary fears about the future?
Journaling gives you that necessary distance, that objectivity, to analyze what needs to be pruned or perhaps completely changed in your mental framework.
It's incredibly revealing if you do it consistently.
And the subjective clarity you gain, it feeds directly into the power of positive framing, which the sources describe as a conscious, rigorous investment.
It really is. It's like deliberately fortifying your inner defense system against negativity.
So what does that involve? practically?
It means intentionally surrounding yourself with inspirational people, choosing your company wisely. It means consciously speaking empowering words, both to yourself in your self-talk.
And to others.
And to others, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And deliberately choosing uplifting content, whether that's books, audio programs, even the conversations you engage in.
And the sources are quite forceful on this point. They frame negative thought as the biggest, most insidious enemy of growth.
It really is positioned as the ultimate self-saboteur. Think about why. Negative thought paralyzes your effort.
Even when all the resources you need, the knowledge, the money, the opportunity are physically available right in front of you.
Precisely. You could have the most perfect business plan laid out, step by step.
But if your internal narrative is dominated by, I'm going to fail, or this won't work, or I'm not good enough,
that self-doubt will stop you far more effectively than any external competitor or market barrier ever could.
So investing in positivity isn't just fluff.
No, it's about maintaining the operational readiness of your internal engine. It's essential maintenance for peak performance.
Okay, section 3. We've primed the mindset, the internal operating system. Now we move to pillars 2, 3, and 4. Skill, health, and network. Let's start with pillar 2, investing in skill.
Right. This is where that internal value, that hunar, starts to meet the external market, where it translates.
And the value proposition seems pretty straightforward.
It's undeniable, really.
Yeah.
The world pays for solutions. It values practical skill and competence far, far more than just possessing a degree certificate.
A degree is a starting point, maybe.
It can be. But the degree is the certificate. The practical skill, the hunar, is what you can actually do to solve a client's pressing problem, or optimize a business process, or create something genuinely new and valuable.
Real power is measured by that demonstrated competence, what you can deliver.
Exactly.
Now, for you listening, you might be thinking, okay, but where do I even start? There are so many skills. The sources give a clear, actionable goal here, don't they?
They do. It's remarkably clear and manageable. Set a goal to learn one new high-value skill every single year.
Just one major skill per year. That sounds doable.
It is doable, but think about the impact over 5 or 10 years. It's transformative.
What kind of skills are we talking about?
Could be anything high value. Mastering advanced public speaking. Becoming truly proficient in high-level writing or communication. Gaining deep financial literacy and business acumen. Acquiring critical digital skills that maybe your company currently lacks.
And the sources emphasize something important here. Each new skill doesn't just add to your value linearly.
No, it creates a synergy. It multiplies your market value.
How so?
Okay, let's say you're already an expert programmer. That's skill A. Then you decide to spend a year really mastering compelling public speaking and presentation skills. That's skill B.
Right.
Suddenly, you're not just capable of coding in isolation anymore. You're capable of leading technical teams, pitching projects effectively to executives, maybe even selling your own software ideas. Your value has multiplied, not just added.
That leads perfectly into the specific anecdote from Sugar Man War's material. It provides such a clear illustration of this principle.
Yes, the contrast between the two friends working in the same company.
Tell us about the first man.
The first man, well, he just did his prescribed job. Day in, day out for years. He did what was asked, maintained the status quo, was reliable.
But he never sought out new training, never pushed himself to develop new skills beyond his immediate role.
Exactly. He remained stuck. Maybe he felt safe in his routine, but the result was stagnation in his career, his responsibilities, and inevitably his compensation.
Okay, now his friend.
His friend took the other path. He continually invested in himself. He started perhaps with foundational soft skills like communication and negotiation.
Things that are always valuable.
Always. Then maybe he moved into practical financial literacy, understanding the business side better. Then maybe strategic leadership principles.
And the outcome?
The source notes that this second man, the one who consistently compounded his skill set year after year, he eventually became the owner of the company, or at least rose to a major executive position.
Wow. And the critical difference wasn't raw talent necessarily, or their starting point.
No, it was the consistent, continuous choice to invest in multiplying his skills, that relentless self-improvement.
The compounding of competency, not just financial capital. Powerful. Okay, let's pivot sharply now to pillar 3, investing in health.
Yes, and this one is so often neglected, isn't it? It's seen as secondary, maybe an optional extra if you have time.
But the sources frame it very differently. They call it the ultimate prerequisite.
Health is described literally as the biggest engine. Think of that. You might have the most powerful dreams, the most sophisticated skills, the most expansive network.
But if the engine fails, if your health gives out,
The vehicle, your life, your capacity for sustained work, your ability to pursue those dreams, it goes absolutely nowhere.
the sources say, quite bluntly, without health, everything else is useless.
It's true, and this forces a really severe prioritization check for most of us.
The argument is, you must dream of being healthy before you even dream of being rich. Is that right?
That's the argument. Health is the fundamental capital. It's the platform upon which all other investment returns must rely. If the platform collapses, everything built on it goes down too.
So what's the required investment here?
It's framed as non-negotiable and primary. Daily exercise, finding something you can stick with. Deeply prioritize good eating habits, really viewing food as fuel for performance, not just pleasure.
And sleep.
And ensuring adequate restorative sleep. These aren't luxuries. They are framed as primary wealth-generating activities because they maintain the engine.
I think we need to really elevate the warning here from the sources. It's not just that a sick body can't make you rich.
It's also the opportunity cost, isn't it?
Huge opportunity cost. If you are constantly ill or chronically fatigued, think about the energy, the time, the mental focus.
That could have been invested in learning that new skill, working on your goals, connecting with people.
Instead, all that precious resource is diverted just to recovery, to doctor's appointments, managing chronic issues, just trying to feel okay.
Exactly. You're constantly drawing down on your energy reserves just to maintain a baseline level of functionality. You're not growing. You're just trying to tread water.
And that chronic lack of health doesn't just prevent growth.
It actively drains the other three pillars too. It hammers your mindset, makes you pessimistic. It limits your physical and mental ability to acquire new skills. It even hampers your ability and desire to network.
It's like a debt that just keeps increasing every single day you neglect it.
A debt with very high interest. Okay, on to the final pillar in this section, pillar 4, investing in network.
Right. This is the understanding that growth isn't really an isolated solo journey. It's relational.
Your network is your net worth. We've heard that phrase, but the sources dig into why. It's about the environment you deliberately place yourself in. That environment determines your ceiling in many ways.
How so?
The sources warn, quite directly, if you are constantly surrounded by chronic complainers, by people who only focus on problems and never on solutions, people who drag you down,
You will inevitably adopt that lens yourself. You'll start complaining more.
it's almost unavoidable. It's like secondhand smoke for your mindset. You absorb it.
We're talking about strong environmental pressure here.
Absolutely. But the converse is also true, and this is where the investment comes in. If you deliberately surround yourself with big dreamers,
People who are disciplined, who are relentlessly pursuing improvement, who are actually executing on large goals.
you will naturally elevate your own thinking just by being around them. It's like atmospheric pressure, but applied to your ambition and standards.
So relationship investment has to be strategic. It's crucial.
It's presented as crucial. You must actively seek out, engage with, and consciously maintain relationships with people who are hardworking, positive, and genuinely inspire you to be better.
This network acts as a kind of upward guide, an accelerator.
Both. It guides your direction by showing you what's possible, and it accelerates your progress by sharing insights and opportunities.
And the sources clarify something important. This investment isn't just about formal networking events or collecting business cards.
No, not at all. A huge part of it is simply learning from the lived experiences of successful people.
So a quality conversation.
Exactly. A really high-level conversation with someone who has already mastered a difficult task or navigated a challenge you're facing.
Where they share their unfiltered lessons, the mistakes, the breakthroughs.
That single conversation can sometimes be more impactful, more concise, and frankly, more efficient in transferring real wisdom.
Then reading an entire theoretical 300-page book on the same subject?
Often, yes.
Yeah.
Because it's applied knowledge, tested in the real world, it's knowledge transfer on fast forward. The investment is in gaining access to successful patterns of thought and behavior.
Okay, section 4. The mechanics of daily investment and resilience.
Right, we've established the 4 pillars: mind, skill, health, network. Now we have to get practical. We need to discuss the execution.
How is this philosophy actually maintained day to day? And maybe more importantly, how do we overcome the natural obstacles that inevitably stop most people from sticking with it?
And that conversation absolutely has to begin with the most precious, completely non-renewable asset we all have: time. Investing time wisely.
The sources call time the greatest wealth, don't they?
They do, because unlike money or possessions or even knowledge to some extent, once time is spent, it can never, ever be recovered. It's gone forever.
Which means wasting time is framed as the biggest potential loss you can incur, bigger than losing money.
A much bigger permanent loss. But the challenge is, time waste is often invisible, isn't it? It just slips away.
Minutes here, half hours there, scrolling, procrastinating.
Exactly. So the sources recommend a very practical, actionable tool. Track your daily routine rigorously.
You mean actually write down where the hours and minutes are going?
Yes. Be brutally honest with yourself for maybe a week. See how much time is genuinely dedicated to self-improvement, focused work, or relationship building.
Versus how much is just evaporating into low-return activities that drain your focus and energy, like mindless scrolling or channel surfing.
If you don't track it, you simply can't manage it. You're flying blind.
And to help structure this time management, the source material suggests something called the balance split.
Yes. They propose dividing your available time, or perhaps more accurately, your daily mental energy into 3 essential balance parts.
What are the 3 parts?
Part 1 is learning and self-improvement, actively acquiring knowledge and skills. Part 2 is working and achieving goals, applying, executing tasks, moving projects forward.
And part 3? This one's important too.
Part 3 is rest and recharge, active recovery, sleep, activities that restore your energy.
And the emphasis on balance here is key, right? It's a check against burnout.
Absolutely essential. If you overinvest only in working towards goals, but you neglect rest and recovery,
your engine burns out, your output quality plummets, you make mistakes.
Right. And if you only focus on learning, taking course after course, but never actually apply it or work towards a goal,
the knowledge just stays theoretical. It doesn't translate into hunar or results.
So a balanced split ensures you have sustained energy and effectiveness across all the pillars. Neglecting one area ultimately sabotages your returns in the other 2. It's interconnected.
But inevitably, even with a plan, the greatest barrier to this kind of disciplined investment is internal. We have to talk about overcoming obstacles, procrastination, and fear.
These are the big ones. The enemy of continuous growth is very clearly identified in the sources. It's laziness and procrastination.
That habit of deferring necessary action, constantly saying, I'll do it tomorrow.
That deferred action is what kills momentum dead in its tracks. Tomorrow often never comes, or it comes with less energy, more resistance.
So how do we break that chain? The sources say the method is deceptively simple.
Deceptively simple, but not easy. Start immediately. Right now.
Whatever the task is.
No matter how small the task feels, read just 1 page of that book, write just 1 sentence of that report, do 5 push-ups instead of 50.
The act of taking that very first step, it builds kinetic momentum.
Exactly. Psychologically and physically, the subsequent steps become easier because you've overcome that initial heavy inertia. The resistance is highest right at the beginning.
But often what stops us from even taking that first tiny step is the fear barrier.
Yes. Many people avoid true self-investment, like signing up for that challenging course or starting that difficult but important project.
Why?
Because of a deep-seated fear. Fear that the effort will be wasted. Fear they'll fail publicly. Fear the investment won't actually pay off in the way they hope.
And that fear just holds them captive in their current state.
It keeps them stuck. But the powerful counter-argument the source makes is this. No true self-investment is ever actually wasted.
Even if it doesn't lead directly to, say, a promotion or more money right away.
Even then. Because even if that specific course doesn't directly boost your career tomorrow, it fundamentally changes your thinking. It builds your discipline. It improves your problem-solving capacity.
And that intellectual and systemic shift.
It always provides a later advantage, often in unexpected ways down the line. You see connections you couldn't see before.
It's like the difference between buying a lottery ticket, which is pure chance, and buying a challenging book. Even if that specific book doesn't immediately solve all your financial problems.
It has still increased your intellectual capital,
Yeah.
your understanding, and that's a permanent gain you carry forward.
A guaranteed return, just maybe not the one you expected.
And governing all of this effort, all this overcoming of fear and procrastination, is the role of discipline and goals.
Yes. Discipline isn't presented as some kind of punishment you inflict on yourself.
How is it defined?
The sources define discipline as a person's greatest asset, their internal capital, more valuable than money.
And how does that work?
Because sticking to the small, self-imposed rules you set for yourself, That is the direct fuel for self-confidence.
It's a continuous feedback loop.
Exactly. You set a small, manageable rule like, I will wake up 15 minutes earlier this week, or I will avoid checking my phone for the first hour of the day. And then you actually follow through on it.
And when you follow it consistently, your inner belief in your own reliability, your ability to do hard things, it grows exponentially.
This practical daily discipline forms the foundational brickwork of any significant success.
It's the bedrock. But all this rigorous discipline, it needs direction.
Yeah.
Right? It can't just be discipline for discipline's sake.
Which is why we must be investing in goals. Dreams are just pleasant fantasies unless they're anchored.
Anchored by daily planning, consistent effort, and dedicated time investment. Otherwise, they just float away.
An investment made without a clear goal. It's just pointless wandering, isn't it? You're just busy, not productive.
Precisely. The suggested ritual in the source material is highly practical for this.
What is it?
Wake up. First thing, write down your big dreams, your major goals. Clarify them. Make them specific.
And then,
crucially, identify the small, achievable steps you absolutely must take today toward that specific goal.
this ensures that every allocated moment of investment, your time, your energy, even your money, is always purposeful and focused on moving the needle forward.
Wasted effort, everything aligned.
Finally, in this section on mechanics, we have to talk about resilience. Dealing with setbacks. Learning from failure and small victories.
Yeah, because failure is inevitable on any meaningful path, isn't it?
The sources are very clear. Failure is not something you should fear or avoid at all costs.
No, quite the opposite. Failure is positioned as the greatest teacher you will ever have.
Why?
Because failure provides raw, unvarnished, specific lessons that people who only play it safe and avoid risk simply never receive. You only learn the limits by testing them.
So the key is, when you face a setback, don't treat it as a final verdict or a reason to quit.
Absolutely not. Take it as specific data, a lesson. Use it to grow stronger, to adjust your investment strategy, to refine your approach. Failure is an asset, but only if you extract the data from it.
And what about confidence? It's not like some people are just born confident, right?
Yeah. Not according to this material. Confidence isn't some mystical gift bestowed only upon the already successful.
How is it built, then?
It is built brick by brick, daily, by doing two things: completing small tasks successfully and consistently keeping the small promises you make to yourself.
That loop again. Promise, execute, build belief.
Exactly. Which is why we must actively acknowledge and even celebrate the joy of small wins.
Like what? Finishing a difficult chapter in a book?
Yes, or maintaining a new exercise habit for a whole week, successfully navigating a challenging conversation you were dreading.
These tiny, disciplined victories.
They accumulate over time into massive, unshakable self-belief.
Yeah.
Real confidence grounded in evidence, not just positive thinking.
And if you ignore those small wins, if you only wait for the huge breakthroughs,
You lose the emotional fuel. You lose the motivation needed to sustain the daily grind, the consistent effort over the long haul. Celebrating small wins keeps the engine running.
Okay, Section 5, the long view and ultimate freedom.
As we start integrating all these mechanics and principles, we arrive at the final, essential, long-term component of this philosophy. The sources use a specific word, Daria.
Daria, long-term perspective and patience.
Yes, and Daria implies more than just passive patience. It suggests a kind of sustained, patient endurance, holding steady through challenges.
And the sources define this attitude as essential capital, like money or skill.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because think about it. What's the number one reason people abandon self-investment? They quit the course, they give up on the business idea, they stop the diet.
They don't see results fast enough.
Exactly. They don't see immediate, visible results. We live in an instant gratification world. We expect the stock market to move quickly, maybe?
And we project that same unrealistic short-term timeline onto personal growth, which works very differently.
We want to plant the seed this morning and be harvesting the fully grown fruit by lunchtime. It just doesn't work that way.
And that instant gratification mindset is positioned as the enemy of deep, lasting self-investment.
It is. Which is perfectly captured by the farmer analogy used in the sources.
How did that go?
A real investor, someone with Daria, understands process. Much like a farmer, they know they have to plant the seed, water it daily, tend the soil, protect it from pests.
They do the consistent work.
But they also know, deep down, that the fruit takes time to ripen. You cannot rush the harvest of skill or knowledge or character. They trust the natural process of growth.
That requires faith in the process, doesn't it?
And patience. Daria.
The sources really reinforce this with that specific, powerful example you mentioned earlier, the boy who committed to reading for just 30 minutes daily.
Yes, remember him. Initially, that 30 minutes seemed insignificant, tiny. He probably saw no immediate career benefit. Maybe his friends even mocked him.
But after 2 full years of that consistent low-dose investment, day after day,
He had unknowingly accumulated a body of specialized knowledge so deep, so nuanced.
that people started seeking out his advice. His opinion mattered.
Exactly. He became a go-to person. Meanwhile, his friends, who perhaps wasted that same 30 minutes daily on fleeting entertainment or gossip,
They were intellectually and professionally stagnant, stuck in the same place.
that small, seemingly insignificant daily act created an expert, purely through the power of consistency and Daria, that patient persistence.
So, okay, we have the knowledge base building up, we have the patience. What's the next crucial step according to the sources?
Application is key. Applying the knowledge and also investing in experience.
Meaning just reading the books or taking the courses isn't enough.
It's necessary, but insufficient. The sources really stress that the real difference, the real transformation, happens when you actively apply that knowledge in real-life situations.
Application is what converts that theoretical information
Into practical wisdom, into usable skill, into actual hunar. You have to seek out opportunities, even small ones, to test what you're learning in the real world.
And this idea also strongly encourages investing in experiences, doesn't it? Not just knowledge from books.
Yes, actively seeking out new experiences. Maybe traveling outside your usual routine sphere, if possible. Meeting new people from completely different backgrounds and perspectives.
Trying things that are outside your comfort zone. Things that might even scare you a little.
Exactly. Because staying within the same limited geographical bubble, or the same social circle, inevitably limits your thinking. It calcifies your assumptions.
These new experiences, they challenge those assumptions. They force you to adapt.
And they expand that big, expansive mindset we talked about back in Pillar 1. New experiences are incredibly high-yield investments in your cognitive flexibility and understanding of the world.
Ultimately, then, all of these different investments in mind, in skill, in health, in network, in patience, Daria, in application and experience, they all culminate in one final deep investment.
Investment in self-knowledge and self-reliance.
This sounds like the most fundamental one.
The sources argue it might be the biggest and perhaps the most difficult investment you can make. Truly knowing your own strengths, understanding your deepest weaknesses without illusion, and recognizing your true motivations and values.
Why is that so crucial?
Because it's essential for making correct, aligned, long-term life decisions. Decisions that resonate with who you truly are, not who you think you should be.
And this requires dedicated time for introspection. It's not automatic.
Definitely not. It means spending quiet time, daily or regularly, just understanding your own thought patterns, clarifying your true dreams versus maybe the expectations inherited from family or society.
And identifying the areas where you are most vulnerable to self-sabotage, your triggers, your blind spots.
Knowing yourself deeply is the foundation for navigating life effectively.
And the payoff. After this decades-long process of investing in all these pillars, what's the ultimate reward?
True freedom and independence. That's the ultimate prize. Because when you diligently build up all your internal pillars, when you become highly skilled, hunar, consistently healthy, strategically connected, mentally disciplined, and deeply self-aware.
You become completely reliant on yourself, on your own internal resources.
Exactly. You are no longer desperately dependent on a single company for your security, or on fluctuating market conditions, or on any fleeting external circumstance or person.
That's self-reliance. That's the final dividend from all this internal investment.
It is. It enables you to make your own path, to navigate challenges with resilience, regardless of the external chaos that might be swirling around you.
It means that you become the permanent, high-performing, resilient asset in your own life.
That's the ultimate goal.
Okay, outro time. Here's where I think it gets really interesting. We've spent this whole deep dive taking the entire premise of investment, which is typically focused on external capital, on money.
Stocks, bonds, property.
And we've completely redefined it based on this source material from Sagar Mandwar. We've established, really, a proven blueprint for building internal permanent growth.
Across those 4 critical areas: mindset, practical skill or hunar, fundamental physical health, and your strategic network.
All sustained by the crucial element of patient endurance, Daria.
And the source material shows so clearly, I think, that every single decision we make how we choose to spend our precious time, our finite energy, even our money.
It's fundamentally an investment, isn't it?
Every choice is an investment, and it either pushes us forward, adding to our internal capital, or it subtly pulls us back, depleting it.
The key takeaway seems to be ensuring that our daily investments are consistent, they're disciplined, and they're always guided by a clear long-term outlook, not just chasing quick fixes.
Well said. It's about the long game of becoming.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener, as you go about your day? This philosophy we've unpacked, it frames every single challenge you